You know, it's hard to wrap your head around the sheer scale of the crisis we're facing when it comes to child trafficking, especially when we hear numbers that boggle the mind. Just think about this. We've gone from 85,000 missing children to a staggering 340,000. And let's not kid ourselves. These kids aren't just lost in the system. They've been sold. They've been bought and handed off to sponsors like they're commodities, not human beings. It's a chilling reality, and it's one that we can't ignore any longer. Now, let's talk about Goya Cares and their partnership with Tom Homan, a name that many of you might recognize. Homan is known for his tough stance on border security, but now he's stepping into a role that's even more critical, helping to track down these trafficked migrant children and reunite them with their families. It's a monumental task, but one that's absolutely necessary. We can't pretend this isn't happening, and we certainly can't pretend that we can solve it alone. Bob Unanu, the CEO of Goya Foods, recently spoke about this initiative, and his words struck a chord. He mentioned how their involvement in the film Sound of Freedom opened their eyes to the horrific reality of trafficking. It's a movie that, while dramatized, shines a light on a dark truth that many of us would rather not confront. But the fact is, ignorance isn't bliss when it comes to the safety of our children. Unanua pointed out that they're taking action by going into schools, raising awareness, and educating students about the dangers that lurk out there. Imagine being a child, feeling trapped, scared and not knowing who to turn to. Education is the first step in arming them with the knowledge they need to protect themselves. And let's not forget about the aftercare. It's not just about rescuing these children, it's about healing them, helping them reconnect with their families, and ensuring they have the mental health support they need. This is crucial because the scars of trafficking run deep. These aren't just statistics, they are real lives, real stories, and they deserve our attention. Sarah Carter, a dedicated investigative journalist, emphasizes that combating this crisis requires massive cooperation across various levels of law enforcement. She's absolutely right. This isn't a problem that one organization can tackle alone. It's going to take a village, federal, state, and local authorities working hand in hand alongside organizations like Goya Cares to make a real impact. We have to break down the silos and work together, pooling our resources and knowledge to tackle this issue head on. What's happening at the border is a direct result of policies that have left us vulnerable. Carter pointed out that children are trying to reach out to relatives, using hotlines and seeking help. There's hope in that. There are children who want to find their way back to safety, and with dedicated efforts like those of Tom Homan and his team, we can make that happen. But it's going to take more than just good intentions. It's going to take action. And let's talk about accountability. Those who are trafficking these children need to be held to the fullest extent of the law. We can't allow this to continue. As a nation built on principles and morals, we have a responsibility to protect the most vulnerable among us. We can't sit back and point fingers at others when we haven't addressed the issues right here at home. The wide-open borders under the current administration have created an environment where trafficking can thrive, and we must demand change. As we engage with this topic, let's remember that it's not just about numbers and policies. It's about real lives. It's about children who deserve safety, love, and the chance to grow up without fear. We need to advocate for them, to raise our voices, and to ensure that those who are exploiting them are brought to justice. Every time we hear about another child being rescued, we have to remember that it's a victory, but it's also a reminder of the work that still lies ahead. We need to support initiatives like Goya Cares, which are stepping up to make a difference. They're not just providing food, they're providing hope. They're standing up and saying, enough is enough. So, what can you do? You can educate yourself and those around you. Talk about this issue. Share information on social media. Support organizations that are actively working to combat trafficking. Advocate for policies that prioritize the safety of children. We can't afford to be silent. We can't afford to look away. This is a call to action for all of us. It's time to unite, to fight against this evil, and to ensure that every child has the right to a safe and happy childhood. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can shine a light on this dark issue and bring about the change that is so desperately needed. Let's not just be spectators, let's be warriors for justice. Let's stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. The fight against child trafficking is a long and difficult road, but it's one that we must walk together. We owe it to the children who are suffering, to the families who are searching, and to the future generations who deserve a world free from this horror. It's time to take a stand, to raise our voices, and to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to protect our children. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about policies or statistics, it's about people. It's about humanity. And that's something we can all get behind.